Can't win with these wires, man. Cannot win with the wires. I'm in my own shadow. I do not like that. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. What's everybody doing? Let me get some things set up on my other screen. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year and all that good stuff. I just got a few things I'm doing here today, so I figured I'd test out this live again and see where it gets me. Gonna do a little bit of movie Sideswipe here, and then a little bit on a painting, I think. Probably only be on for maybe an hour or so, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'll be probably doing a live tonight as well. That would be the plan. So I'm Aaron Archer, a former Transformer design lead. And I'm drawing a little bit of a commission here for McCringle. And I think this is for the LA TF Con. These early parts of the sketches don't really represent much of what it'll look like in the end, but they give me an idea of where to go. And the tricky thing with this one today is my big gray marker is dying. So I'm only going to be able to get so far before I have to account for that and do something a little more substantial, like go get a new marker. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Still a little dark. Still a little dark. So, kind of strange. It feels like this is in shadow, but it's not. So you guys will see how sloppy this process is. Matter of fact, the sloppier it is, yeah, see this gray is already pumped. This will just give me a bit of a base to think about what I'm doing. And I'm gonna have to address that. All of these get about, I don't know, 3 or 4 layers of over overpaint. So this is usually what happens. I'll do a light layer with older markers and just keep building up from there. I find that going backwards, it's more like an animation cell, these things. I'll kind of do them in reverse. The black outline is, instead of coloring in the black outlines, I kind of fill in the color, and then the black line outlines are kind of on the more on the end of the process. This guy does not have a ton of good detailed facial art that I have found. A lot of pictures of the toy, not a lot as far as the main guy goes from the movie itself. And no, I did not keep any kind of archive of movie characters as I did my thing. Got a funky design. It's kind of like G1-ish, but not totally. Yeah, this should be available to watch after. It'll be in the, I'm going to start adding one of these a week to, I think I have an art tab, or art creation tab, where I will be making one if there isn't one, where all these live drawings reside. Even if they are like on a Friday Night Live, I'll duplicate it in there too. So if you're into the art or just watching a dude draw, that's where you would want to go. Look at my reference here. Huh. Yeah, he does. We've got a variety of different details that seem to be captured sometimes, but not every time. Cringe, is that safe to say? It changes a little bit. All the Michael Bay stuff does. I mean, the concept art is different than the, in some cases, obviously, style guide art, which is different than, in some cases, the concept art versus the ILM. So, movie characters kind of live in a constantly moving kind of zone, if you ask me. Yeah, and I'll probably be under the live tab too, of course. So I always get rid of the Hasbro there just so no one's confused as to what they're buying and from whom. Man, there's like no big views of that guy. Everything is like way from a distance. I think I generally have it here, but so it does kind of look like a more of of a samurai a little bit at times, doesn't he? Very sloppy here. This is truly more like painting than drawing. Yeah, I didn't even look at Dark of the Moon as reference. I guess that was probably my first problem. I did Revenge of the Fallen. Curious about his eyes. Oh yeah, I can draw with both hands. That's not really my issue. I got no problem doing what I gotta do. I can write upside down too, so. Sometimes I draw with the wrong hand to get a bit of a different line. But, so, I don't need to do that for very long. See, if I had this big one working, then I can kind of cover faster. All my grays are going at the same time. You can imagine drawing a lot of robots. The gray goes pretty fast on a lot of these markers. And, here's where I'm currently at for those playing at home. That's my latest stash of Dead Warriors. It's all just practice, Cringe McCringle. I couldn't draw before I could draw, so I just practiced and figured it out. But yeah, after all these years, I do have some magic trick qualities with my drawing if I want to. And as those of you who've been here a while, you know, I draw in pen as well, so I'm pretty skilled, I guess. Skilled, I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm able to correct my mistakes as I go. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. Occasionally, for these gray guys, I will use a little bit of paint. The liquid flow acrylics. And again, this helps me get a base. Also helps me render it a little bit. So this this type of paint is made for the people who do this kind of spinning or drip paintings. It's custom made to be very fluid, which works for me on the instruction paper. I don't do that kind of work, but I like the paint that is a little more like this. Just, it's not thick, it just can get pushed around on this slick paper. And again, this all comes together more towards the end. Just trying to get a little weird render. When I go and put darker colors and pop it with lights and darks and all that good stuff. The only problem with this paint is I need to let it dry a little bit longer than the acrylic markers. shiny. Hey, T Farmers 2002, how are we doing? So we're gonna let that dry for a second or two. I'll show you guys some of the other things I've gotten done. Working on a lot of weird stuff. Been working on a big mummy painting. Kind of crazy. I've had this canvas for literally since college, half done with the mummy, and I finally decided to do something with it. I did this guy this week, part of my Vester Force project, my secret project that Forrest Lee and I have been working on. So that's pretty cool. Happy with that. I'm working on a weird ninja thing. We'll see where this goes. So the other day on Instagram, I said, is it all right to work on 3 or 4 paintings at once? And this is why I was asking. So I'm gonna let this dry a little longer. And then this is what I've been working on this week. I finished the Cybertron painting, which unfortunately is upstairs at the moment. But I started to do this painting, which is kind of wider. And I did the planet. And now I am going in and creating these monsters that are attacking the planet in purple. So my color theory is gray and green versus purple. And I'm a big fan of the artist John Berkey. So I was looking at some of his paintings to get some juice, get some inspiration. I love this guy's work. Love everything about it. As you all know, my favorite thing to do is isolate parts of this, and you can't even tell what you're looking at. You know, it's just color theory and shape theory and shadows and light. If you look at it, it doesn't even make sense what it is, but from distance, it totally does. And that's something that I tried to also. This guy did those Star Wars covers, if you're familiar. He did the famous King Kong poster from the 70s as well. So I got this out for reference if I need it. Then I went through my sketchbooks to try to find something I've previously drawn that I can use. So this idea of jellyfish or tentacled ships, mechanical jellyfish or hot air balloons or something was a big thing I was looking at. So I took those sketches that I'd done a while back in volume 100. I took tracing paper and kind of figured out what I was trying to do in each area. Let's see, this one's pretty good here. This wire is driving me crazy. So this swimming thing, you know, is kind of right there. Again, I'm not trying to draw them perfectly when I sketch them because I like the flow. I gotta let the flow happen. Here's one I haven't drawn yet. It's going to be squirting some kind of ink or cloud burst. So, I thought I would define those monsters a little bit more. I wish I could zoom in. Can I do that? Ooh. Nice. Nice. So we'll do a little more rendering on these for a few minutes and see how that goes. Everyone seemed to like the Cybertron or Metal Planet I did, and said they would be interested in more planet stuff, so I am always up for drawing more planets, as you know. So this is kind of another way they end up when I'm done. Pretty elaborately detailed, I guess, is how I like to talk about it. All right. Funny you say that. They are about $1,000 or more. So by the time I realize I get these done, I definitely have quite a few hours into them, and really they become my higher end offering. No doubt about that. Thinking about having a gallery show or some sort of event so that I can expose these to a wider band of people. So I've gotten my colors out for trying to keep the villains in a zone. Yeah, so I'll add those. So it's kind of light on this side, dark on this side. So that's what I'm doing. I'll kind of put the middle down. I kind of hint at a highlight. I'll go in here and hint at a shadow of the form. It's often about dropping a lot of layers of color. A lot of layers of color. And then even after you lay the color in, you got to go back and try to change up the mark a little bit. This one's a little trickier because he's attacking the planet and stuff blowing up around him, so that one's going to be a little more delicate to get around. So I am not being precious at the moment. I'm just trying to find my rough shapes and colors. Hey Bigum, how's it going? Got the crew here: Wind Charger, Kringle 2000, TF 2005, Bigum, El Kevo. I hope you're enjoying the early event here. Trying to test out my equipment and see how it all flows. So I appreciate the discussion. I hope I'm coming through fine. I'm pretty much right against the mic, or the mic of the phone, so I'm going to assume you can hear me fine. So a lot of these little squid things are going to be detailed out with the ink and rendered further with details, and those will have to be planned a little bit so that they flow nice. I think they'll be very detailed with not a lot of lines, if that makes sense. This planet's so detailed that I kind of need to mix the shape theory up a little bit so that you have some sense of focus. So the lack of detail on the creatures will hopefully draw the right focus to them. If everything had the same level of veneer, then, you know, where do you look? So you still have to guide the eye a little bit, if that makes sense to everyone. Trying to get this whole thing in there is impossible. Well, thank you, everyone. I do not have a hidden third hand. I just draw really fast. Hey, man, the Dark Crystal is awesome. It's a shame Netflix did not see fit to do a second season. You know, but the making of the Dark Crystal on Netflix is a really good one too. If any of you are into like the you know, just the thought processes that go into creating these kinds of worlds and images, and the artistry and techniques and know-how that go into then doing any of it. Behind the scenes, Dark Crystal is just really cool. It's one of the things I miss about kind of DVDs going away. That the director commentary and behind the scenes stuff with the art departments, and really gained a lot of information there in the early 2000s from people's opinions, and or at least I did. And seeing how that all went. So this will be something I am working on over the next, I'm trying to finish them sooner, so this will be done hopefully within a more of a couple weeks, because I'm purposely not designing it like I would, you know, a Unicron or a Cybertron type thing, where I want to take it to a certain detail level because everybody knows those details. This I can focusing on, I guess, we call this the story. You know, if you look at it, you can say there's a planet under attack, and it is ongoing. It's being attacked by these weird fish tentacle spaceships. You know, tell a little bit of a story that way, so that when you look at something like this, you just you know, can get lost in that, wherever your mind takes you on that. I'll give you a glimpse as to how these things start. Also, here's a canvas I have that I haven't put anything on yet. At one point I was gonna paint the Reliant from the end of Star Trek II in this. That's why it has this feel. But I decided I don't need to paint the Reliant. So that'll probably be a whole different character by the time I get it done. And then this is how a lot of these space paintings start. I'll just I gotta work from back to front. Obviously, once I put something on top of the space, or once I put clouds out in the distance, you know, things will then cover it up. If I don't do that from back to front, then I'm going to have edges and redo work to put together. So kind of just gives me a place to start. I don't know, that one might be a planet too. Might be a character on there. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. Go. All right. Let's get back to this guy. So I am Aaron Archer of the Toy Armada YouTube page, as well as my Instagram is Aaron Archer Official, and you can check out this kind of work I do most weeks, and you can check out all my other Patreons and YouTube channel. Obviously you're here, and learn more about what I've done. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I am an independent artist, and doing this stuff helps provide the ability to continue, basically. I like being creative, and real work is kind of strange to get and get paid for and find. So I do this to supplement whatever I can as I build it. So I really do appreciate all you guys being here just to get the numbers and the algorithm, and as you've invested in my various things, I thank you. I'm fortunate to have had a run on not only one of the greatest toy brands of all time, but one of the greatest, in my opinion, fandoms in toys of all time, which is the Transformer fans. So I love interacting and continuing to be a part of this brand. So I appreciate you guys willing to sit and check out what I'm doing. So I'm kind of outlining it now a little bit better, but not in black. This helps me get various renders, so when the black comes in, it feels even more rendered. That is to say, give it volume, and wrapping it with a light source one side to the other. Give you a little glimpse into that. Let's see. This guy is kind of interesting. He's got these extra eye elements that not all the Transformers seem to have. They're finally figuring out how to give these guys the ability to emote after a movie or two. Some of them are really weird to emote. So I am painting right on the original toy instruction sheet. That is what you're seeing there. So I use my fingers, I slap my paint against my fingers to have it pop out like that. I do a little bit of everything, whatever it takes, right? Just gonna pop a little bit of this right now. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but give us a sense of how then this will all work together. I will also say that this is the way I do these things. You know, it's one way to paint and look at your arrangement. You don't have to do it this way. I have found that this works best for me. Nice thing about these Posca paint pens is that they cover, and then you can go back over and, you know, I'll pop the eye thing that goes across a little bit in there at the end. I don't know why he's looking like a cat here. That's not what he should look like. So I start with the eye as a pretty big blue circle, but it gets smaller by the end as it goes through all this little process. I can clean it up as I need. And if I want to a little more shading, I can do it that way too. And sometimes I'll go in with a dark blue here too to give it a little bit of a different render. Especially on a character like this, it's just gray and gray. You don't want to go to, as a creative person making any kind of image, you know, you don't want to go to black too soon, because once you go to that, then you're either going to have to paint over everything, or you've just made it, you've had to use more paint to cover it. So you really want to go to black as late as possible if you can. So that's where I'm at the moment. Let's see what people are saying. I'm glad your day off, El Kevo. I saw Dark Crystal in the theater as a kid as well, and I can definitely say 82, I would have been 10. I definitely understood it, but I didn't understand all the motivations behind, like, the Skeksis and things, and it took me a long time to come to grips with that, I guess, as a fun person. Hey, Ninjatron, how's it going? Alan, how you doing? Man, we got the whole Timu. Man, let's just keep going till 10 tonight, right? Well, enjoy your lunch break. I'll give you a little something else. Yeah, a bunch of different shades of gray do kind of make it a little movie-ish, doesn't it? They are so much like that. So you can see I can go back and start popping stuff out if I'm not happy with it. You can see where I need to get back in there and start popping. If I need to make something a little bit bigger, I can go over those black lines if I'm not happy with this layout. One thing I can do too is on the outside at the end, I put a line around them, and I can contain the form a little bit that way too. Another thing that I can do is I can go in. This one's dying too. Another soldier gone. Maybe I'll pull that out tonight. I'll pull my box of pen caps out if I can find them, and we can really discuss the bag of hair that is my creative process and why I keep all that stuff. So I'm just seeing him on the reference. His head's a little more squatty on his shoulders. I have him a little bit long-necked here. And that's the other thing, you know. For me, I slowly zone it in and get these shapes right. it's just better to put color down for me with this type of paper, and then just keep cutting back and forth. All right, Dead Soldier cap is going in the bag. Hey Sean, Ring of Doom, how are you? Well, any story about good and evil has things that are from other books as well, so maybe. I've shown these things before, but I'll show them again. When I was a kid, 1982, I saw The Art of Dark Crystal in the bookstore, the Walden Books at the mall, and flipped through it a few times and was amazed by the artistry and just the concept of a book that really didn't have a lot of words and was mostly in universe. This book was haunted my mind for many years. Just because let's be honest, back in '82, they didn't make a lot of books like this even, and $15 in '82 might as well have been like $35 now, or $40. And as a 10-year-old, I wasn't getting $40 for a book. But I can tell you what I did do. So I bought this one, this paperback one, at some point along the way, probably in the 90s. This was my first chance to get a copy, and unfortunately it's getting a little dinged up, but it is a first edition. And then I wasn't satisfied with that, and at a Comic-Con, I was able to find this edition. I believe this is the first British published edition, hardback. Notice the manufacturer there. And then I bought another one in hardback, $25. This one was, the hardback was $25. And I was able to meet Brian Froud along the way. And I got my book signed. So pretty cool. And this is also, I believe, a first edition. Yeah, first edition. So I only pull these out to highlight the fact that if you're inspired by something, you will hunt it down. So this book has been my kind of headhunter book for a long time. Every time I see a nice copy, I go ahead and purchase it for a while. I even have the reissue one from a few years ago. That's the one I really go through if I need to go through it. So that is definitely one of the books that inspired me to get into this whole thing. And those of you that are here usually with me on a Friday night, I just sent out my list of questions to a bunch of designers that I know to start getting that process rolling, where I'm going to be interviewing different toy designers from different eras and see kind of kind of an inside the actor's studio kind of thing where we ask the same questions each time, and we'll see where people's answers get to. So that progress got made this morning. And I got a phone call here at 2, so we'll be finishing up at 2. Won't be finishing the art, but we'll be finishing this demonstration. So one of the other things that I will then go in and do is, you know, at the very end, what I was talking about, you can pop your shapes with an outline, you know, that kind of thing. So I will go in later and set it off. This guy's looking a little too angry right now. I gotta give him that sharp feel that he has in his head. And at the very end, they become less bug-eyed or kind of staring at you. That all comes towards the very end as I close it all up and put the things, those little weird things that go over the eyes in the Bay designs, and you know, render this face a little better. So this part is behind this part and this part, because, you know, the face is inside the helmet, so to speak. So I got to push that back, push a lot of this inner working back as well, push the neck darker so that all of the head is more forward, right? Our chins are further out than our neck, so they're going to catch light different. So I'm taking all that into account while I'm doing this kind of thing. Another part of this is I will go in and bolt up the blacks at the right time. So that'll be a facet of it too, but it's more at the end when I know I like what I have. And again, I hope anybody that's creative out there, that's, you know, doesn't have a strong opinion of their creative, I hope you can just tell that I'm just laying it down. You can't do anything until you lay it down, and you can't lay it down the first time perfectly. So just go ahead and start, you know, the render process, what's high, what's low, where you want to focus, and just start getting into it. And again, with this kind of Posca anyway, you know, I can always go over it, and it's not gonna be something that really messes me up. So you can start to see a little bit of what's happening there. This black is dying soon, so I got a lot on the injured reserve. Yeah, they all look a little cross-eyed until the end when I tune them in and kind of render that eyeball, because again, the eyeball is brighter, but it is recessed in the face and the helmet, so that will get a lot more subtlety added to it. Where'd that go? Which is this darker blue at the top. And that'll slowly, you know, come into play. And then I can always go back, and if I'm not happy with something, I can pop it back up or highlight it different or whatever. So it's a matter of tuning it in. And again, things midstream will always look a little weird or off. I can definitely tell you that. So I appreciate everybody being here. I will probably see you later tonight. Yeah, that's totally what I'm doing. Good catch. You know, this blue here is kind of the reflection of the eyes, catching a little bit of the the metal. And it gives it a little sense of life, that they're really lit up from the inside, right? So thank you for pointing that out, noticing it. All right, so this one is a commission for Cringe McCringle. He's going to take it to TF Con and get it signed by the voice actor. Some stuff has come up, and now LA is questionable for me. I haven't made a final decision, but I need to quick for Colin's sake. So that one is TBD for sure. Ninjatron, I enjoyed your Twitch stream last night. That was very fun, watching the commercials while you're drawing and kind of giving everybody something to talk to about and whatnot while you're doing your work. I got to check out where it ended up. I was going to do something like this last night myself, but then I got caught up in watching Ninjatron's feed, which is fine. So good to see you here today. And with that, I think I'll call it until tonight. If anybody has anything that they want to cover tonight, please let me know. I don't necessarily have a firm topic, but again, let everybody know I did start my Patreon. I did start the YouTube membership, so if you're inclined to support what I do in that kind of way, please check that out. I am an independent artist, and this really does look, every little bit helps. I can just say it that way. Mainline work is not what it used to be, so I'm just hitting all the ground running where I can. I'll have the Cybertron painting that I showed tonight. That's been now shellacked and is all good and shiny. Let's see if I get to this one. It'll probably not be a drawing pod tonight. I'll probably have my ugly mug out here. Man, look at that stupid wire. I gotta keep my Mac plugged in or it just dies too quick for my tastes. So any of you that enjoy the Galaxy paintings, thanks for letting me talk that through also. As a creative person, it is not all robots all the time, even though that is my bread and butter. All right, so again, I appreciate everybody. Appreciate you checking everything out that I do. And archermonster.com for the shop, and Aaron Archer Official on the Instagram to see more of my work. And I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a great Friday. Thank you. Thank you much. No, I did not finish Jet Prime yet. It's getting closer, I guess, but still haven't finished it. Need to. Probably can't finish this one today. Good call back, Patrick. Thank you. All right, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.